Are you always falling short of your budgeting targets? Budgeting is one of the most important skills for a hotel manager. Did you know that it is a top requirement for being considered successful as a hotel manager? But most hotel managers are budgeting and forecasting the wrong way. Because of that, they do not achieve their targets. I will show you how you can budget and forecast effectively using a simple but secret technique that other managers do not know. So you will have a heads up on them. And more importantly, that will avoid those very mistakes that are happening all the time. Now you may have a question, why me? Well, I spent 26 years in the hotel industry in senior finance and leadership roles. I have experienced firsthand hundreds of budget exercises, and I've personally trained hotel managers to avoid those very budget mistakes. And I'm going to do that in this video as well. Let's go. Food and beverage revenue is the second largest contributory to hotel success after the rooms department. I will be showing you how you can use a method to achieve what is considered a major problem. Food and beverage, as we learned earlier, is one of the most important sources of hotel revenue. This is how to budget food and beverage revenue as a step-by-step beginner guide. Many hotel managers think the revenue process is a straightforward single stage process. It's not. Let's see what the 3 stages are. It begins with the pre-budget plan, followed by the actual budgeting process itself, and a post-budget forecast, which is as important as the other 2 stages. So let's look at the step-by-step approach to this budgeting process. Step 1 is about 2 categories. Number 1, historical analysis, which includes trends, seasonality, and outliers. The second category is about the market analysis, what kind of market you are operating in, and that would include competition, a look at the economy you are operating in, what supply changes have taken place, and the demand generators for your hotel food and beverage revenue. Step 2 is the budgeting process itself, which includes a big picture overview covering covers served, average check, table turnover. We will be looking at all of this later in the full video, and of course the revenue itself. And then we have an important element of the revenue generation, meal periods. And we'll be covering 3 major ones: breakfast and lunch and dinner. Then comes the important assumptions on the basis of which the budget is laid out. And that would cover comparisons and actual formula calculations of the key performance indicators. Step 3 or stage 3 is the post-budget forecast, with the first category being monthly profit and loss statement. This would cover revenue, expenses, and therefore profit, and a powerful analytical tool called variance analysis. This is followed by a yearly forecast so that you can get a full year perspective, which would include course correction, market changes, and supply changes. Let's take a brief look at each of these processes. The first one is, of course, the pre-budget plan, and it includes historical analysis, as we saw earlier, covering trends, seasonality, and outliers. Category 2 is market analysis covering competition, economy, supply changes, and demand generators. Let's take a brief look at each one of these. Getting a full perspective on your past performance is one of the most important parts of a budget, and particularly the pre-budget plan. And that includes trends. Trends is all about how past data on covers, average check, table turnover, etc. are trending. Are they growing? Are they decreasing? And so on. And then comes seasonality. The hotel industry is a seasonal industry. So what are the months where it has lean, standard, or peak months of restaurant volume? And then the outliers, the abnormal events that occurred in the past year, like Olympics once in 4 years. Category 2 is about the market analysis your restaurants are operating in, and that includes, most importantly, your competition. What restaurants are you comparing yourself with, and what are their covers and average check KPIs? Then comes the economy. What economy are you operating in? Is the economy stable? Is it operating on a boom level or a recession phase? And then supply changes. Are there any new restaurants opened in the market you operate in? And that would, of course, affect your pricing, your covers served, and so on. Has supply reduced in any way? On the other hand, you look at demand generators, which are the major meal periods of your demand. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are, of course, the most common meal periods. Stage 2 is the budgeting process itself, which includes a big picture overview that covers covers served, average check, table turnover ratio, and of course revenue. And then meal periods themselves, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the three most popular meal periods, and assumptions, which would include comparisons and formula calculations. Finally, stage 3 is the post-budget forecast, beginning with the monthly profit and loss statement covering revenue, expenses, and profit, and the powerful variance analysis, comparison of actual to budget, actual to last year, and so on. And then finally, a year forecast, which would include course correction, any change in direction needed, market changes in the market you're operating in, and supply changes. Want to learn more about meal period analysis before you begin your food and beverage budget? Well, click on the video above for the restaurant meal period analysis.